We are going to start with our focus on the tensions in West Asia. Remember, Hassan Nasrallah, the chief of the terror outfit Hezbollah, has been eliminated. With him, 20 more terrorists have been killed. And now Israel is targeting the Houthis in Yemen. So the tensions are right now only heightening in West Asia. And remember, viewers, there have been more strikes by the Israeli Defense Forces in Yemen. Barely moments after Nasrallah's killing, protests have been erupting in Iran and Jordan now against his killing. Israel seems to be in a two-pronged war against Yemen and Israel. And of course, there is the threat of retaliation that is looming large against Israel also. Hezbollah has recovered Hassan Nasrallah's body. Israel is targeting the Houthis. And viewers, we will be getting you more. In fact, we'll be we'll be joined by a reporter on Ground Zero, Republic TV reporter Ali Hamouch is joining us live from Central Beirut in Lebanon. There have been strikes. There have been fresh strikes in Central Beirut. That's what we are learning, Ali. Fresh strikes by the Israeli Defense Forces. Despite Nasrallah being eliminated, 20 more terrorists being killed, it seems that the Israeli Defense Forces are in no mood to stop now. They are all set to decimate the entire system, to break down the backbone of Hezbollah.
Let's start with the most recent strike that occurred in Central Beirut. It actually targeted not a Hezbollah member by any means. It targeted a PFLP leader, a progressive Marxist group that is not very popular right now in the grand scheme of things, but still poses an issue, it seems, for the Israelis. And so the Israelis are not simply trying to break the backbone of Hezbollah. They are trying to simply break the backbone of any movement that is considered a liberation movement or resistance movement in the region. They are on a killing spree in Lebanon, having just killed over 40 civilians in a single strike yesterday in Arnab Goswami in Sidon, the main region in southern Lebanon. And the final tally of yesterday's attacks, most of them civilians in Lebanon, was 109 martyrs. So it seems the Israelis are now focused on targeting civilians and not military infrastructures as they claim.
Yes, Ali. In fact, this multi-pronged war is already happening in West Asia. The tensions are simmering in West Asia. And now what we are also learning is that the strikes on Houthi targets are also continuing. Now we are seeing that a very significant port in Yemen has also been targeted by the Israeli Defense Forces. Tell us more about the importance of why Israel is now moving towards Yemen.
It has been known for a while that Israel has been trying to eliminate every single force that opposes its presence considered hegemonic in the region and colonial. And as such, Ansarullah, the Yemeni group, the ruling Yemeni group in Yemen, has been supporting what is considered as the axis of resistance in the region, comprised of Palestinian factions, Lebanese factions, mainly led by Hezbollah, Syrian and Iraqi factions. And as such, the excess of the attacks over the civilians in Gaza erupted into a retaliatory act from Ansarullah in Yemen. And as such, they started targeting military infrastructure in Israel. Now, Israel, considering that it's trying to expand the war in the region and ignite a regional war, and it's something that its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in multiple events has said and requested the backup of the United States of America, this is a clear attempt to drag Ansarullah into this war. Despite the fact that Yemen and Ansarullah have been under siege for 9 years, they have managed to expand the scope of their military work into the occupied territories. And as such, now the Israelis are trying to limit the scope of the damage to bring back what is considered a sort of deterrence image for Israel, and proceed to control all the military outposts in the region. But as we saw yesterday, and as the many spokespersons for Ansarullah have stated, the attack was not strategic in any sense. because Ansarullah had anticipated such an attack after their hypersonic missile attack 3 days ago over Israeli settlements. And as such, they've moved essential personnel as well as vital targets, and we're talking here logistic targets, not only personnel, into safe areas so that the Israelis couldn't target them. As such, the attack yesterday was a sort of showmanship, as the Yemenis have said, and didn't have any strategic value. But we can anticipate Netanyahu's aggressions growing larger and attempting to attack multiple outposts in the region while claiming to be a sort of victim state for the moment.
Absolutely. What is the situation like in Beirut right now? If you can just help us help us take a look around the city, the central Beirut, as the reports are telling us, has been hit. But what is the situation like in Lebanon, and what is happening on the Iranian front? Because what we are learning is that the Iranian leadership has also called in for a meeting, and they are mulling the next plan of action, the retaliation.
Regarding the situation in Central Beirut, as I mentioned, the Kola attack. Kola is the region next to Paris, is the two Sunni majority regions, not Shia as the Israelis would like to claim. They're a region filled with original Beirutis people whose forefathers and fathers descend from Beirut, the capital, and is known to be a very traditional and one of the core regions within the capital. And as such, this attack is considered a new type of escalation. Attacking the heart of Beirut is something that hasn't happened barely in 2006, July. It barely happened. The last time it properly happened was 35 years ago. And so certainly the Israelis are trying to escalate the situation in the hope that Hezbollah is now perhaps in shambles. This is what they're hoping for, and they've mentioned it multiple times. And perhaps now is the time to strike, to try and create a sort of shock within the country. Now, this has, of course, sent shockwaves because this was not a tactical hit in any sense, but yet our key leader, the Palestinian Front for the Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine, as I said, is still has some sort of popularity still, but is not one of the main resistance factions. But it is clear that Israel is trying to create this sort of deterrence image once and for all for itself. Now, this has not deterred any resistance faction so far. Hezbollah is now in the process of electing its new leader. The Vice Secretary General of Hezbollah, Sheikh Naim Qasim, will be speaking in approximately 30 minutes to update us on the situation within perhaps the body of Hezbollah, as well as its goals in the next period. Now, Beirut, due to these multiple aggressions, has been going through a displaced people crisis. Lots of people from the south of Lebanon, the Bekaa region, which is to the east of Lebanon, have been displaced to Beirut. Some of them are having to adapt to live on certain urban areas, on the streets with tents, etc., until the situation is somewhat ameliorated or they find a certain alternative.
Yes, Ali.
So the situation is somewhat bleak, but the political work and the military work is still ongoing in order to counter the Israeli measures.
Absolutely, Ali. In fact, stay on with us. We will be getting more updates from Israel as well. Lev Aran, our reporter from Haifa, is also joining us on the broadcast. But before we go across to him, let's take a quick look at this report that we've compiled for you viewers to get a feel of what's really happening on ground zero and the latest updates coming in.
Smoke was seen rising from airstrike-hit buildings. Crowds gathering under damaged buildings. Sirens emanating from police vehicles, ambulances and fire trucks in central Beirut. This marks the first time in nearly a year of the Middle East conflict that an airstrike hit central Beirut. Kola intersection, a major transportation hub, was hit on Sunday. However, in the past week, Israel has been targeting Beirut's southern suburbs. The Lebanon-based terror group Hezbollah, that has a strong presence in the area, is on Israel's target. This incident occurred just hours after Israel struck various targets across Lebanon, resulting in dozens of casualties, including the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. However, Israeli officials are yet to comment on the strike. Amid the airstrikes, France's foreign minister, who is in Beirut, vowed support to civilians caught in the middle of the raging war in the Middle East. With Israel intensifying its offensive, the situation continues to remain tense in the Middle East.
And I'll go across to my colleague Lev Aran, who is right now joining us from northern Israel. Now, Lev, Hassan Nasrallah, he's eliminated. 20 others have also been taken down by him, by Israel. And now this two-pronged war that we are witnessing, the strikes in Lebanon continue. It's a rare strike by Israel targeting central Beirut. And now there's also the Houthi targets also by Israel that are being now pounded. What's the plan of action for Israel? Because we understand that even Joe Biden is all set to speak to Benjamin Netanyahu. But since IDF has said that no place is too far for us, they're very clear about it, that they will do whatever possible to break down and to decimate all the terror outfits, all the Iranian-backed militias.
Okay, so let's cut it into a few bits. In Lebanon, Israel wants 1701. They want all Hezbollah forces to be on the northern side of the Litani River. The UN has decided it. Hezbollah did not respect it. And right now, I believe that if Hezbollah surrenders and say, okay, we take 1701, I don't think Israel will keep on striking, because we took like 19 of their 20 main generals. With the Houthis, the idea is to tell them, you fan the flames. It is not your conflict. Gaza is far away. West Bank is far away. Lebanon is far away. Why the hell are you bombing us? So the idea is that the Houthis will pay a costly price for intervening in a conflict that does not belong to them. And to the Hamas in Gaza, the idea is that they will understand that they're like totally alone. Akele, akele, akele. Nobody will help them. And if they don't give back the hostages, Israel will keep on humiliating them inside Gaza.
Well, Lev, it's not very easy for Israel, isn't it, to counter Hezbollah, or is it after the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah? Because Hamas, of course, the war still continues in Gaza. It's still continuing for months, for a year now, almost. And if you talk about Hezbollah, that's far more stronger than Hezbollah. It has more trained, personnel. It has guerrilla warfare fighters. It also has, a stronger weaponry and more of heavy funding by Iran. And how does Israel, does it have its all bases covered? How the way it's going forward in this conflict?
So first of all, I couldn't agree more. With Hamas, the idea is full victory, as far as Israel is concerned. But I don't think this is the idea with Hezbollah, because Hamas and Gaza Strip are mainly surrounded by Israel, except a 13-kilometer stretch with Egypt that Israel has already reoccupied. If you look at Lebanon, from Lebanon to Tehran, we have a 3,000 kilometers of a territory of pro-Shia, pro-Iranian territory. Israel knows that it cannot get the same results with Hezbollah as it can get with Hamas. This is why, as far as Lebanon is concerned, Israel is more humble. Israel wants only 1701. They don't even believe, or even we, I'm also Israeli, yes, we don't really believe that we can make Hezbollah a non-existent organization. But we do believe that if Hezbollah is humiliated enough, it will accept 1701 and go to the northern part of the Litani. And again, when Israel humiliates Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas, they also humiliate Iran. They want to tell all the axis of Iran the solidarity between the Shia groups in many places, plus Sunni Hamas in Gaza, it doesn't work for you because we are stronger than each and every organization. And even if you fight, all of you together against us Israelis as a solidarity, it doesn't work for you.
And what about the, the talk about the imminence of a ground incursion, Lev, in Lebanon? And remember, this is different than Gaza. Gaza has a different standing. If we talk about the geography, the geopolitics around Gaza, it's completely different. Lebanon is a country. How easy will it be, or is it going to really happen any soon that Israel will enter the ground and go for the final assault?
So at least right now, Israel has a DESI consensus. The truce is not something that is good for us. Peace with Lebanon is good. 1701 is good for Israel. But a truce just to help Hezbollah to regroup is not something that we Israelis right now need. This is what the government believes right now. And we even have some kind of, let's say, a left-right bipartisan consensus inside Israel. So the occupation of part of Lebanon by Israeli tanks and infantry, it is a question of the Hezbollah reaction. If Hezbollah decides that they adopt the 1701, I believe a truce will be there and later on even a bigger agreement. But if Hezbollah will keep on saying nothing happened, we will keep fighting Israel, I guess at one stage you will see Israeli boots inside Lebanese villages and towns.
Okay. Okay, I'll go across to Ali, who is live with us from Beirut. Ali, well, there have been reports of hundreds and thousands of people fleeing from Lebanon, and now this rare strike on central Beirut, where people have been, at least 4 people have been killed. Even a Hamas leader, a Hamas commander, has been just killed this morning. We got that news. What is the situation like? What's really being planned in Lebanon? What is the Lebanese government planning to do? What will be their next move?
Yes. Now, again, just to reiterate, the attack on central Beirut, the attack on the Kola region did not eliminate any Hezbollah official or leader or any Hamas official or leader. Again, it was a PFLP leader alongside a colleague of his and 2 additional people. So again, the symbols are not really clear this time. I think they are simply trying to wage a war similar to a war of shock and awe, a campaign of shock and awe over Lebanon. And this is what the Lebanese society, the Lebanese government, and Hezbollah is trying to absorb. If the government believes, as well as the population, that if it can absorb the shock and awe tactic that Israel is trying to implement, so far, after a week of intensive bombing, we have approximately 1,000 martyrs in Lebanon, thousands of injured people, and as such, it is clear that the main target of Israel currently is to instill terror in the heart of the civilian population, not the military leadership, not the Lebanese government. It is to strain the Lebanese government. It is to attempt to put some strain over the health system within Lebanon. Now, right now, the Lebanese Prime Minister Nazim Mikati is conducting a new round of diplomatic talks with the French foreign minister who arrived in Beirut yesterday, as well as several other counterparts over the phone. As we know, Benjamin Netanyahu seemingly agreed to a ceasefire on Thursday and then walked back over his promise while in New York. Nothing is certain with the Israeli regime. They keep changing their goals, they keep changing their approaches. They do not stick to a specific program when approaching either Gaza or Lebanon or even Yemen. And as such, everything the government is trying to do right now is to absorb that shock, is to absorb the amount of civilians being killed by Israel, and to try to reestablish its emergency plans and ensure that it works out and continue its diplomatic efforts. All the while, Hezbollah is working internally on rebuilding its diplomatic and political capacities, as well as its leadership body. And there was an important statement from the vice leader of the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps yesterday, which mentioned something
Yes.
very important, I believe,
Yes.
that Hezbollah right now, all the leadership positions in Hezbollah right now are filled, they are occupied, there isn't a single position that is empty. And I think this is a strategic blow to Netanyahu's plan to actually empty the leadership body of Hezbollah.
Right.